So it's 2 o'clock. So
All right.
Ed is traveling to the Japan. Is it called SUS? Japan, the International Trade Conference. Anyways, he's on the way to that. So he's going to try to call in, but in his absence, Nick's going to take the reins to run the meeting. In Katanga, if you'll just keep an eye, like I said, on the lobby, if we pick up anybody after we start, then you can log them on the roster.
Okay.
So with that, Mr. Moore.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll now call the meeting to order, the November 16th, 2022 meeting of the Alabama Office of Apprenticeship Council. Would now ask that Ms. Katanga would take the roll for us.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Governor Ivey,
Here.
Lieutenant Ainsworth,
Cole Wagner here on behalf.
thank you. Senator Reed. Senator Reed. Okay. Representative McCutcheon. Okay. Chancellor Baker.
Audrey Webb for Chancellor Baker.
Thank you. Superintendent Mackey. Mr. Clark. Mr. McCartney.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Albritton.
Here.
Thank you. Representative Bracy. Mr. Flippo. Mr. Grissom.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Hope. Ms. Ricks. Mr. Shelton. Ms. Turner.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Braddock.
Here.
We have 4 out of the 9.
This is Ms. Hope. I am here. I'm not sure if I unmuted myself in time for y'all to hear me.
Okay, all right. We do have a quorum.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. So I would now ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you. Motion, a second being made. Would ask all those in favor to say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the ayes carry. The agenda is approved unanimously. Would now like to move on to approval of our last meeting's minutes. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you both. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Ayes have it unanimously. The minutes have been approved. Would now like to move on to approval of, or excuse me, of new business rather, and proclamation hour details. So tomorrow we have been invited by the governor to attend proclamation hour. That will be at 4 o'clock. We've got 9 folks signed up for that. Or when is it? 2 o'clock. I'm glad you. I don't know why it's on my calendar. Oh, I know why. I was in Seattle when I put it on there. So got myself straight now. So 2 o'clock, and we got 9 people signed up. If something has changed in your schedule and you're going to be able to make it, just please let us know so we can let the troopers know. And because everybody has to be signed up so they can get you signed in when you get here. It should be a good event if you're able to make it and get your picture made with the governor, and certainly show support to Josh and his team to have as many members there as possible. So Josh, any other details about proclamation hour?
No, I apologize that we couldn't get that set up at the same time as this. We had already established this meeting, and we had scheduled to be down in Mobile, which is where we are now, to run the Region 7 work-based learning regional meeting. So we weren't able to adjust that. But next year, now that we know that this is going to be a thing, we will try to plan a little better ahead and align our November meeting with the proclamation day so we can all go and have our pretty picture made with the governor. Other than that, Katanga has an email with some more details about, where to enter and all that, but pretty much everything you need, I think, is on the PowerPoint there. But if you have any questions, just reach out to Katanga.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. So what I would like to do now is turn it over to Mr. Laney for the director's report, and then also for item G, our best practice session.
Thank you, Nick. We do have a tremendous report to deliver today. I'm very excited about what we're going to get to share with you. Those of you who are on the mailing list for this received a sheet already that has a lot of the data on there that we share every time. You will notice that list on the left where the programs update, that font got real small this time. That's because we have added more programs during this quarter than we have ever added before. And that is really a testament to the team that I have. They're just absolute rock stars, but if you've met them, you know that. But it's also the partnerships that we've been able to develop across the state with all of the other agencies and the colleges and everybody that's helping us to support these. Looking at that list, there are some very unique programs that we've been able to register. You'll notice right at the very top one that is Red Barn. It's an organization in the Birmingham area that has registered a program for therapeutic horseback riding instructors. That was a really cool program that I didn't know was even a thing. And we went and toured the facility. And those of you who are familiar with like occupational therapy, this is essentially occupational therapy for people with disabilities that need core strength and balance training and all that. And it's a combination of riding instructor and occupational therapist. And it is a very cool program. And it is something that is done, I didn't know, but it's done nationally. There's a lot of these across the country, but nobody else has an apprenticeship for the occupational therapist, the therapeutic horseback riding instructor. So we built that out as a state occupation and have every intention of getting that certified as a national occupation so that other states will be able to duplicate that. Kristen and the folks from Red Barn spent a lot of time in research and making sure that it was something that is replicable that other states will be able to pick up. You can see there we've got some others that are heavy equipment operators, say a construction. You can see the stars on the side there on the map. The red stars are all the locations or approximate locations of the new programs. Tim, you'll be glad to see we got Wiregrass Construction, some horizontal construction going for once with an asphalt crew equipment operator. That program is based out of the Wiregrass, but they of course have facilities and training all across the state, so they'll be using that in multiple locations. We've got more electricians with commercial trade, another truck driving program. You see University of Alabama, Huntsville, and Auburn University, and then a little further down the list, Central Alabama Community College are all listed as new sponsors, and then it says RN. So we didn't list every one of the nursing programs here, but we did specifically want to call those out because those were the first programs registered at that university or college. So they are not only new nursing programs, they are new sponsors completely. And Tawana is actually working with Auburn, is about to register another program for them, and they're doing in-house training for their own maintenance and facilities people. So that one's going to be very cool too. Floribama, Sophia got a registered apprenticeship. Those of you, if you know, we have an apprenticeship with the Floribama. What you didn't know probably is that the folks that operate the Floribama actually operate several fine dining restaurants as well. And so that's really what the training here is for. They've got facilities in multiple locations. They're going to open a new one it's in Baldwin County. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Sophia. They're opening a new one in Baldwin County, I think, that should be opening up soon, another fine dining restaurant. So they need a pipeline for, they've done a stacked approach. So they've got a tier one with not entry level, but a basic chef, fundamentals, and then they've got a more advanced chef on top of that. So that's very cool. We were proud to see that. We're going to take a field trip to the Alabama and check on it pretty soon, make sure everything's going like it's supposed to. Evonik chemical operator, that was another big one that Sophia was able to work with, and that one is getting their training through the University of South Alabama. So that's another partnership with universities. So we continue to build these things that are providing technical training, but not eschewing the benefits of higher education at the same time. So we love to be able to blend those things. The last one you see in that list there, we call it's our first Fat Chef program. It has nothing to do with cooking. It's a IT support specialist, but that is Chickasaw City Schools. David Wofford is the superintendent down there. And if you know anything about Chickasaw City Schools and right outside of Mobile, it's in Mobile County, it's a tiny little school system and they have to be self-reliant. And so they needed an IT person. And so they have decided, we call it Fat Chef because they eat their own cooking is the idea. They are hiring their own student, putting them through training, putting them into an apprenticeship program. And that person is an employee of Chickasaw City Schools. And we call it Fat Chef because we tell them, if you as a school system want to go out and convince employers that you have the kids and the kids have the skills that they need, then why are you sitting there with open job postings on your school board website? Why are you not hiring them? And so David said, you're right, man. That's great. We're super proud of that. And we think that there are going to be more school systems that follow that model. And then it's easier for them to help the employers in their community understand how an apprenticeship could help them and pipeline their students into those programs. Then you see at the bottom of the list, we added a whole bunch of new occupations. So these were existing sponsors that continue to expand their programs. Another IT support specialist with Wallace Dothan. Hardy Corp added several, plumber, HVAC, sheet metal. Bevel State picked up a couple. The Calhoun Community College got several more. So you can see the folks that have gotten into apprenticeship and the sponsors that have done it. We don't build programs unless there's an employer. So every time you see one of those, that means that there have been employers who've come to those sponsors and said, I want to do this and I want you to help me and I want to do it through an apprenticeship. So that's what every one of those expansions there represents. You notice at the bottom of the list, it says early childhood educator, and there's a little asterisk there. It's a new partnership between Wallace State Community College and Athens State University for an early childhood apprenticeship program. If you remember, that is under the statewide sponsorship of the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. So it's an existing sponsor, but it's a whole new pairing. And we have several more of those pairings. Early childhood is one where we had to really, really work to get the wages to be at an acceptable level and build the stack so that somebody goes from that certification step to an associate's degree to a bachelor's degree, and it all builds up as they go and they get credit for everything that they've done. They don't have to repeat coursework, and they even get university credit for some of the work that they've done while they were in the associate's degree with the community college. So very cool program, continues to grow, and we're proud to see that. We've been doing our rave reviews. That's what we call our compliance monitoring process. And we have completed, I think it's 14 or 16 rave reviews. But after we complete the review, many of them have actions they have to take to get all the way to the end and have everything in their program be fully compliant. Once they are fully compliant, we send them a survey. And I'm going to show you a couple of results from surveys today, but we send them a survey and ask them, how did you like it? Did you feel better trained? All of that kind of stuff. And you can see here the open text responses to the questions that we included. We've only got 5 responses so far, but because we haven't had that many that have gotten completely done with the process. But we're scoring a perfect 5.0 on the overall satisfaction with the process. And just so you know, if you ever, I hate when people show me parts of surveys because it makes me think that they probably cut out the part where it said you guys are terrible and we can't stand you. So if any of you on the council ever want to see any of these results or any of these surveys, let me know. I'll send you the link and you can look at the whole thing. Just so you have full transparency into what we're doing. But you can see the comments there. Kristen was very knowledgeable and helpful throughout the process, and the project manager was extremely helpful. The wrap-up part was great. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for because it is about technical assistance. Now, Are we going to have to get people in line sometimes if they're doing things that are out of line? Yes. And is that always a pleasant conversation? No. But when we finish, are they in a better place and do they feel like it was a helpful process? That's ultimately the question that we're trying to get at. And the answer seems to be a resounding yes. So as far as new apprentice registrations, those of you who have the sheet for this quarter, you can see the details there. We added 664 new apprentices in 34 different occupations. We had 115 completions. We've been doing this long enough now that we're starting to see trends. We're getting enough data behind us that we can start to map trends. And this is one I wanted to show you. The white line on that graph is registrations of new apprentices this year, so in the last 4 quarters. The red line is the previous 4 quarters. And so you can see that there's kind of a pattern where in the second column there, in the January, February, March, you have a pretty good bump. That's people who are enrolling in programs in the spring. And then when you get over to the fall quarter, which is where we are, the one that we've just wrapped up, you can see that tends to be the biggest one. And that lines up with the beginning of the academic year, either, your fall registrations in August and September, fall registrations, and then maybe some people start programs in January, February at the beginning of the calendar year. But even in our programs that are not tied to a college or a university or a K-12 system, they tend to run on academic year cycles because that's just what people are used to and that scheduling works. So we always get our biggest bump this quarter, but we were really pleased to see 644 new apprentices join in this last period. So that's the most we've ever done. We're really proud of that, and we're going to keep on pushing to keep growing those apprentice numbers. Now, with that said, if people keep forecasting bad things about the economy, that makes it harder. We were all here when we went through the COVID, lockdowns and all of that kind of stuff, and everybody put hiring on a complete freeze, and it's hard then. So just, we are somewhat at the mercies of the economy. So we're counting on our leaders to make sure that the economy stays on track, at least in Alabama, so that we can keep this training going. So then nursing apprenticeship specifically, I wanted to show you this map here. This is probably already outdated because we add them so fast. These are all of the schools that are doing nursing apprenticeships. Now, I've told you before, we're the first state in the nation to have registered nursing apprenticeship programs that are pre-licensure before they've graduated and completed their nursing degrees. That's full credit to the Alabama Hospital Association, the Alabama Nursing Home Association, and the Alabama Board of Nursing for all being willing to work together and flexible enough to do something that hasn't been done before. And it is going like gangbusters. All of these schools are now sponsoring registered apprenticeship programs for nursing. We started this in June with these employers. So this is how it began. June, July, we had 3 employers working with Gadsden Community College and Coastal Community College to stand up apprenticeship programs. They were our definite guinea pigs. That's how it started, and this is how it's going. So we have, that's not even all of them, but we have added, north of 60 employers now who are participating in this. You'll see on the map there, you see what looks like a lot of repeated logos, but that's not really repeated logos. For example, right at the top left, you see the Athens Limestone Hospital with that green double H. Well, they're part of the Huntsville Hospital System. So you've got Huntsville Hospital System, when they buy in and they try it out somewhere, they're already doing it in Athens, Decatur, Huntsville, Highlands. They're doing it all across their system. Rehab Select is one of our best partners, and probably Bobby is one of our biggest cheerleaders. I mean, he absolutely loves it. He says it makes a difference in his hiring, but you'll see Rehab Select is doing it in Albertville. They're doing it in Talladega. They're doing it Shelby Ridge, all over the place. So these employers have really bought into this concept. It's like it was something they were waiting on that they didn't even know they were waiting on. And so that's going amazingly well, and we could not be more pleased with the progress of that. So we've been going around doing these signing days. So this is just some of the pictures of the apprentices. We won't always do signing days for every batch of nursing apprentices, but it was important to bring some recognition, we thought, to those first ones as they went out and tried it. And this is just a sample set of the pictures. You'll see that we've got, Southern Union Infirmary and Auburn University. We did signing days at all these different locations. One of the cool things about this, and if you just kind of take a overview of the pictures right there, that doesn't look like the demographics of the rest of our apprenticeship programs. There's a lot more females participating in there. There's a lot more minority participation in there. And that's what we've been saying since the time we started. Yes, we do want to make sure that our typical construction trade apprenticeship programs are welcoming to minorities and females and all that, but we also want to provide training in things that other occupations, instead of just trying to say we want everybody to get a pink hard hat, we want to provide opportunities for things that other people want to go into as well. So I think that is helping our diversity of our programs. I know we can see it in the numbers, helping the diversity in our programs, and we're really pleased with that. The apprentices at Auburn, you couldn't have made up, like if you were making up a story about people that apprenticeship was supposed to help, you would have invented these apprentices. 2 of them are veterans. They're married to each other. They have 5 kids between them. They will flat out tell you the only reason that they are going to both be able to go to nursing school at the same time is because of the apprenticeship program. Otherwise, it would have been you go and then I'll be home and then I'll go and you can go to work. So, that kind of thing. There's a single mother in that group. There's some adult learners that are coming back to education, and we see that all over the place. So it's just really, it's really a great program to help diversify the participants in our apprenticeship programs. Also diversifying our apprenticeship program participation is our pre-apprenticeships. I will be at the state WIOA board meeting, I don't know, sometime soon, Nick, whenever that is. And I just want to put this out there again. We have a process for certifying high quality pre-apprenticeship programs. And the reason that we're doing that is because, one, we want the word pre-apprenticeship to carry some weight, but we intend to request from the state WIOA board automatic eligibility for certified pre-apprenticeships for the ETPL, the WIOA funded eligible training provider list. We plan to petition the state WIOA board to grant that same automatic eligibility that apprenticeship programs enjoy to pre-apprenticeship programs, because we think that can help to expand the people that are participating. And I've said it 100 times, this is not always just about high school kids. It tends to be mostly high school kids when we talk about pre-apprenticeship, but this is adult ed. This is people coming out of incarceration. This is all kinds of, and matter of fact, our best practice today, Dr. Mumba is going to talk to you about a program that has a pre-apprenticeship built right into it as well. So you can see there, Sunoco, Build Up. Build Up, if y'all haven't seen him before, that's Mark Martin. They've got a really cool program there that it's more than I can describe in just a couple of minutes, but it's a really cool program with a lot of hands-on training built into that high school program. Diesel Mechanics, and then of course Lockheed Martin. We have been in the news. Just a few samples. You see on the far left side today was an article on AL.com based off of a press release that the community college system put out yesterday. We now have every single community college in the state as a registered sponsor that for at least one occupation. And most of them have multiple, but everybody has at least one. That was a threshold that we've been trying to get across for quite a while. Not many other states have that. And in fact, Audrey can tell you firsthand, she went to a convening about FAME in, I've forgotten where Michigan, Audrey? Somewhere far away, Ohio. And the people there were just shocked at the idea that the community colleges and the apprenticeship people got along. And we didn't know we weren't supposed to, so I guess we'll fight later or something, but they couldn't believe that we got along. So we were really proud to get across that threshold. That's a great article that the college system was able to put out today and highlighting National Apprenticeship Week in a great way. And then you see just a few other examples there. And I wanted to point this out, and you're going to think this is a preacher story. You're going to think I made this up, but I promise you this is true. Today, the goal of having us in the news and having these articles and putting the posts out on Twitter and all that kind of stuff is to raise awareness about apprenticeship for the participants and the employers, so people know that it's an option and that they can join. But as a direct result of that article on the left today, I got a call from a gentleman who wants to remain anonymous, who has a pretty substantial sum of money that he wants to donate and set up a scholarship program for 2 apprentices per year down in his Escambia County is where he's originally from, but he wants to set up a scholarship program to pay for 2 apprentices a year because he believes in the kind of work that we're supporting here. He's an Auburn man, so he's got a good heart. But he wants to support that. And so, I mean, that's not always going to happen, but every time one of these goes out, that's a few more people that know about apprenticeship in the state and a few more people that know that it's a real opportunity. And most of the time, my cell phone is going to ring once or twice with somebody who says, hey, I saw this. And, you know, it's just as important if somebody says, I saw it and I've got some money and I'd like to donate. That's great. That's rare, but it happened today because of that article. But it's just as important if somebody calls and says, I got this boy on my couch that needs a job, but he doesn't have any skills. What can we do? And then we can connect them and they know that it's an opportunity. So when you see us out there bragging, it's not just bragging because we like to see ourselves and see our pictures in the paper or whatever. It really is about raising that awareness. We also have been on the road quite a bit. We're pretty much always on the road. Nick was saying we're like Willie Nelson being on the road again. I think we're just on the road still because we never come off. Kristen and Tawana went up to DC and participated in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Talent Pipeline Management Training, which is really helpful when we work with our employers. At the conclusion of the development of the apprenticeship process, we say, okay, now you've built a great training program. Let's tap into the talent pipeline, figure out where the people are going to come from. That's a great training, and they've brought a lot of that home for us to participate in. Meredith and Sophia went to the Forestry Association conference, always very popular there, and had a great time meeting with employers. And then on the far right, you see that I sent Meredith and Sophia to the Manufacture Alabama conference as well. And I know they met with employers because I heard about it, but for some reason, the only photos I got back from that were live music and sunsets. So you take from that what you will. I don't know, but they were working. I feel sure they were working. But so we are going to where the people are is the point. And we have to continue to do that. It does the weeks get long and the mileage reports get long and you know, it can wear you down, but this crew never shies away from going to where the people are. And I really appreciate their efforts in doing that. We did have people come to us to learn from us this fall. I told you the last time about a Brookings convening that we were planning, and we pulled that off with Nick and the Brookings Institute. We had 36 attendees from Colorado, Indiana, of course, Alabama, and then there were a few from Washington, D.C. Had a great event, really got some good cross-pollination, you know, learning about how other states are tackling the same kinds of issues that we are, learning that other states have different issues than we do sometimes. So that's cool too. So it was a really good event. Audrey gave some presentations. Meredith hosted a panel with Margaret Morton and doggone, I'm blanking out on Terry Collins. Sorry, Terry Collins, and was able to talk about, you know, some of the issues surrounding these training programs that we build. If we build the training program, that particular panel was about childcare. And so, you know what a critical issue that is. We build the world's greatest training program, but if somebody's stuck at home and can't get childcare so they can go to it, or they can't go to work, then the whole thing is a waste. So that was a really awesome event. We were very pleased with the outcomes. We did get to go and tour FlightWorks Alabama and do a tour of the final assembly line over there at Airbus. So that was very cool. We are almost done with our second set of regional work-based learning meetings. We have done 6. We will do the 7th one tomorrow in Mobile at the University of South Alabama. So far, we've had over 400 attendees, including about 80 yesterday in Troy at the Region 6 meeting. That was an excellent meeting. Again, I put some of the survey results up there as one that really just jumped out to me. On the bottom, you'll see, found this training to be very enlightening. The presentation served as a catalyst for my chamber to convene the right people to perhaps create some form of work-based learning in our, it says country, but I'm pretty sure he meant county, in our county, perhaps a job shadowing or internship program. That, to me, that right there validates the whole reason for us dragging our rumps all the way to Troy yesterday and setting up all that stuff and doing purchase orders for coffee and all of that kind of stuff that goes into pulling off one of these events. If we got one Chamber of Commerce that said, hey, that's cool, we can do that, and they set up a new job shadowing or new internship program because of what they heard yesterday, the whole day, the whole setup was worth it. So we were really pleased. It's great to get those little validations every once in a while that you're not just doing these meetings for the sake of doing the meetings. And you can see that they're being well received. 4.74 out of 5 stars is the overall average. The only other thing I wanted to mention before I turn it over to Dr. Mumba, we have had some we've got upcoming work, and I don't, announce what we've got going in the future and that kind of thing. But I do want to tell you, in the last month, and Nick can attest to this, in the last month, we've gotten just call after call and question after question about standing up teacher apprenticeship programs. And all I want to say right now is just that we are working on it. We have a close working relationship with the State Department of Education, and with Dr. Mackey. He's got assigned staff to work on it, and Nick is working with us on it. We're going to be working with the ACCCP, Technical Advisory Committee for Education, to look at those competencies. So it's in the works. It's not ready to be rolled out yet or really announced to the public. But when that many people are asking, I think it's good for you all to know, because somebody may ask you or mention it to you. You can at least tell them, yep, there's a plan. It's in place. We have every intention of launching a teacher apprenticeship program for this upcoming school year. And so just I just wanted to throw that out there now. It's not something that we're ready to release and publish yet, but it is something that's in the works. So with that, leaving from these regional work-based learning best practices, I would like to introduce to you all Dr. Mercy Mumba from the University of Alabama to talk about, she's our best practice presentation for today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so she can share hers. This program that she's going to talk to you about, it was a regional best practice winner, but it's something that Sophia and the folks over at UA have been working on for a long time. And it is really cool, really unique, and attacks the workforce issues that we're facing in the state from multiple angles. Like we said, childcare is an issue. Well, so are other things that Dr. Mumba and her group are working to address. So I won't steal her thunder, but with that, Dr. Mumba, if you've turned on your sound sharing, so take it away.
Thank you so much, Johnny, for having us and for the entire committee that's here. My name is Mercy or Dr. Mumba. I am the principal investigator on the Minds and Mentors Paraprofessional Training Program here at the University of Alabama. We're actually housed in the Copson College of Nursing. We do get some questions about that in terms of how a nurse is pioneering recovery support specialist apprenticeship. But really, our team is composed of a multidisciplinary team from nursing, psychology, education, social work, and other colleges here at the university. We call our program the Minds and Mentors program because we believe that everything that we do in terms of substance use disorders and mental health and promoting workforce development in this area is supposed to improve minds, and we use mentors who are peer support specialists in everything that we do to guide the practices as well as the evidence that we're bringing to the table. So recovery support specialists do engage in a wide array of activities and I'm sure all of us on this meeting know about peer support specialists, but just to reiterate, these are people with lived experiences who have had at least 2 years of sobriety and are currently working to help other people in recovery to achieve their own personal recovery. We have found through research and other literature that people who are recovering from substance use and mental health problems want to hear from people who have lived experiences. And so sometimes as clinicians or as researchers, we come in and we want to just use the book knowledge, but it's different when somebody who has walked the walk and talked the talk is actually trying to help somebody else who's in recovery. So they do advocate for people in recovery by sharing resources, helping people build skills. And that's one of the biggest things that we see in our target population when people are trying to recover from substance use is a lot of them have been out of society as we know it in terms of engagement. So building their skills and their capacity to be productive citizens is one of the biggest things or one of the biggest challenges that we find. And so when it comes to employment, that is an issue because they're not able to perform at the same level as other people who have not had substance use disorders. And so equipping them and building that capacity, as well as providing a community of relationships and support systems, has been very helpful. And the other aspect of peer support, of course, is mentoring. Sometimes just knowing that somebody else who was in your shoes has made it to the other side can increase self-efficacy as well as determination to recover from substance use. Our peer support roles extend over a variety of settings from acute care to substance use treatment centers to community-based recovery support services and other arenas like research. So for example, in our teams, we do always incorporate people with lived experiences in terms of intervention development and deployment. We also know that helping them develop resources is important because recovering from substance use, part of it is understanding what resources are available to you. Sometimes people don't even know the treatment services that are available in their area or what support services they can engage in. And also knowing that we do have state agencies that are there to support them. And that is one of the reasons why we work very closely with the Alabama Department of Mental Health, because they are the actual certifying agency for peer support specialists. These are numbers that we're all very aware of in terms of Alabama and the opioid crisis. We have some of the highest per capita prescription rates compared to other states in the nation. In fact, we have one of the highest and we're almost double the national average. We have seen a lot of improvements in terms of lowering prescriptions. But what has happened is that now there is a trend toward the overdoses being more influenced by the fentanyl and other synthetic opioids compared to just the prescription opioids. So the landscape is consistently changing, and what we want to make sure as a apprenticeship and a pre-apprenticeship program is that the people who are coming through our programs are aware of the different trends and the different landscape that is happening in the state. We also know that when it comes to mental health professional shortages, 84% of Alabama counties are actually designated as mental health professional shortage areas. So our programs are definitely impacting several different aspects in terms of the strategies that Governor Ivey has put together. We believe that that's one of the reasons why our program is unique, because we're not only targeting the opioid crisis, which, you know, the Opioid Addiction Council by the governor tries to do a lot of work in that area, but also responding to the workforce initiatives to provide more skilled labor in terms of certified recovery support specialists. And here in the next slides, I will tell you a little bit about how we have actually improved and enhanced the current training program that was being offered by the Alabama Department of Mental Health to make sure that we're providing comprehensive didactic training as well as experiential training. prior to someone beginning to work independently, which increases their self-efficacy and their ability to help others in recovery. We also know that our program can provide extensive experiential learning experiences, and what we've tried to do with our program is we provide a varied number of experiences. We try to have someone go through a traditional substance use training facility or treatment facility, but we also work with non-traditional facilities. For example, the fire department, we do place people in the fire department. We work with the Safe Center, which also looks at sexual abuse and things of that nature. So we want to make sure that our CRSS or our peers have actually a well-rounded approach to substance use disorders, treatment, and prevention. We know that substance use rarely happens in silo. There's usually comorbid mental health conditions and other intimate partner violence, as well as other associated diseases such as HIV for those people who inject drugs, and hepatitis C. So we want to give our peers a very well-rounded approach to helping others in recovery. One of the focus of our training program is ACEs, which is adverse childhood events, and also the angle of looking at it from the family perspective, because we know that when somebody has a substance use problem, their family is affected, their friends are affected, and other relationships as well. We have also been able to successfully create a pre-apprenticeship as part of this program, which provides us the ability to transition someone from a pre-apprenticeship program and straight into our apprenticeship program seamlessly. And we have Sophia to thank for that, and just her being able to hold our hand. Our program is funded by HRSA, which is the Human Resources and Services Administration, and it's a 4-year grant. Like I mentioned, we have a level 1 pre-apprenticeship, which is a 1-year-long program and approximately 5 hours a week for anyone who wants to participate in the program. They have to be certified by the Alabama Department of Mental Health when they finish our 2 courses, so they have the ability to enroll as a UA online student and take 2 courses at the University of Alabama, each at 3 credit hours. The first one is called the Minds and Mentors Didactic, and the second one is called Addiction and the Family. All our pre-apprenticeship trainees do receive a stipend of $208.33 every month for participating in the program. And once they transition to the experiential component, which they're required to complete 120 hours a week, we do provide transportation incentives as well. So on top of the 208, they do receive a transportation voucher or a stipend as well. For people to be eligible for the pre-apprenticeship, they have to have at least 2 years of sobriety and at least a GED. These are stipulations by the Alabama Department of Mental Health because they are the certifying body in terms of the CRSS. Once they're done with level 1 apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, they can transition to level 2 pre-apprenticeship program. This is a 1-year-long program, and it's 40 hours a week, and they do receive 2,000 hours of on-the-job training, and they're supposed to participate in 154 hours of behavioral health related instruction. These are provided through Blackboard and can self-paced modules. Although we do try to make sure that people are staying on track, because part of our program objectives, as you can see, we pay them $625 a month on top of their hourly wage that they're receiving from their employer. So we do associate our monthly stipends to the progress that they make every month and their ability to master certain numbers of the SAMHSA competencies. So we do have a schedule of things they have to complete, although their modules are self-paced. Applicants are required to have CRSS certification, and this is something that we are receiving such important feedback from in terms of employers. They just say there's so much that their peer support specialists previously did not have, whether it's professionalism, ability to document, understanding evidence-based treatments for substance use, and just their ability to function as a certified peer support specialist. So our program is very comprehensive, and we're very honored to be able to contribute not just to the recovery of other people with substance use disorders, but to equip others to be productive members of society by becoming a support specialist, but also supporting employers at the same time. We have grown exponentially since we started 2 years ago. This is definitely not something that we had anticipated, but we definitely consider a blessing. These are all the different people or organizations that we work with in terms of placing our certified peer support specialists, in terms of our experiential learning component, as well as our apprenticeship program. So we're very blessed to have the ability to work with all of these different organizations. And literally, we're in every corner of Alabama providing services and providing workforce development for people with substance use disorders. In terms of numbers, what we have achieved so far, like I said, we just started 2 years ago. Our very first cohort was in January of 2021. We have trained 88 trainees since we started, and about 70% are currently working as CRSSs. Now, that I have to put that in context, because some of the people that we train are not people with lived experience in terms of they have used substances themselves, but they're called allies. And so allies are not able to be certified by ADMH. However, they can still be employed in support roles in terms of substance use treatment facilities and other areas as well. In terms of the apprenticeship program, our first cohort started in July of 2022, so we're a relatively new apprenticeship program. So we feel very honored that we actually are considered the best practice in such a short time. We currently have 22 peer apprentices hired by people engaged in recovery in Mobile, and 4 registered employers in the process of onboarding. And here on the next slide, I would like to share with you just a trainee perspective of what this program has done for our trainees. And I hope that other people are inspired, and also they can get a better feel of what our program is about.
I've been struggling with drug abuse for almost 26 years. Once I got clean, I started to want to help addicts. I done had some experiences with opening up halfway houses, running sober living houses. Then I got certified as a peer specialist. Some of the things that I learned here in Maya and mentors, they didn't teach us back then.
I would like to work as a certified peer recovery specialist, just be able to help other people that were in the same spot I was a few years ago.
I started the program because I always wanted to try to counsel people with drug addiction.
For someone who didn't really think they would amount to much, even once I got sober, it's been a wonderful and exciting opportunity.
It's just been a very supportive experience. I don't feel like I was set up to fail.
It is one of the most enlightening programs I've ever attended. The mission and scope of it is incredible.
And I think that it's propelled me to become a better version of myself. The most important thing that I've learned in this program is learn how to be patient.
I've learned that I'm capable of doing this.
Now I'm thinking about things I hadn't thought of before.
It taught me how to be an advocate for the addict and not be a parent to the addict.
It's given me a different view of the world of recovery and all the different paths that there are to recovery.
My past experiences can really help somebody else moving forward.
I can help other people find community resources, how to be more successful in life, be productive citizens in their community by gaining sobriety and having the tools to do that and live a successful life and be the mom they always wanted to be, the wife they always wanted to be, and the daughter and the friend.
My past, it's an asset. It's not a liability anymore. I'm just so grateful to be in this program and to be part of something bigger.
They had the compassion and they had the patience.
Just the sense of community.
I know that we're laying down the foundations.
There's doors open for people like us.
Don't be scared. Give it a try. You're going to learn some things that you didn't know.
It's just an incredible program. I hope other people can get involved and find it as exciting as I did.
And like I said, we are funded by HRSA. It's a $2.1 million grant, and it's for 4 years. And so we're just right in the middle, and we hope we can continue improving the lives of people in Alabama, producing more peer support specialists, addressing the opioid crisis, but also improving workforce development in our state. And thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Mumba. I know we would welcome any questions or anybody, if you have any questions for Dr. Mumba.
Good presentation. Good work, guys.
Thank you.
Well, I think you can see why we're so proud of that program, and that's the kind of diversification that we're talking about. When we say we want to mix it up, we don't want to do just the things we've always done. We want to offer new opportunities. That's the kind of stuff that we really love to see come across. Taking nothing away from our trades and our traditional occupations that are the foundations of registered apprenticeship program, but we just think that the tools they're using to train can be used in other fields as well. So we want to copy what they're doing right and use those training tools outside in these other occupations. We really, just a side note, that Alabama A&M master's degree social worker program is also funded by a HRSA grant, similar to what out of the same type of HRSA grant that Dr. Mumba and them got. So we're proud to see that folks are tying together that what we call braiding, right? We're braiding our resources and really being able to maximize the efficacy of all of those grants and dollars and programs. So thank you, Dr. Mumba. I think, unless anybody has any questions or other questions or comments.
I just wanted to really say thank you so much to you and Sophia. We absolutely didn't know what we were doing when we started this, and we've just really had all the support that we could ask for in terms of making this program a reality. And we have you guys to thank for that.
Well, you got Sophia to thank for that, because she knows what she's doing. I sometimes wonder if I do or not, but Sophia is definitely great, as the rest of my team. They all stick with you and keep these things going. So, Nick, that's conclusion of my report. Tim, did he run out of the room, or is he back, or he just?
He's
oh, there he is. Oh, okay.
He just put me on as the good face to look at.
That's right. That's right. But
okay, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. So our next meeting will be on January 18th. And one thing to note about virtual meetings is that we do have to comply with the Open Meetings Act to have 3 of our voting members in person. So we'll be in touch as we get closer to make sure that we've got enough people in person. And we'll work that out. But unless there's any questions, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. Ayes have it, and we will see you all next time. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy
Happy
Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Thanksgiving.